Welcome to this lecture of module 6. In this lecture we shall continue our discussion for the binder based powder bed additive manufacturing. This is going to be the content for today's lecture. In this lecture now we shall particularly discuss about three most important applications of the binder based powder bed additive manufacturing, and those are printing of sands, printing of metals, and fabrication of time delivery drugs. So let us start with the first one, which is printing of the sand. We know that sand is a ceramic, therefore the ceramic is being used as a powder material here, and appropriate ink will be used to bind the particles of the sand. Then after that, a multi-nozzle is used to dispense the liquid binder on the surface of the powder bed in such a way that the desired portion of the powder get hardened together and form the layer. In the case of X1's machine, the powder is delivered from top, and that is why the top feeding system is utilized. Also, the recoating of the powder is done through a slot feeder, where a slot is used to dispense the powder material, which we discussed earlier. So this video will give you an idea of how this process works. The name of the company is X1, and they utilizes the process of binder based powder bed additive manufacturing for fabricating the molds of sand. Conventionally, these molds are built by utilizing a pattern. That pattern creates a cavity in the mold, and then the molds are brought together to pour the molten material into the cavity and realize the final metallic part. However, if we do the same job by utilizing the binder based powder bed additive manufacturing, we can print the whole mold in a single go on the bed. Of course, the mold is first divided into several parts like you are seeing here, and then these parts need to be assembled later on after fabrication in such a way that the cavity can remain there. The molds are fabricated on the binder based powder bed additive manufacturing machine along with the cores. So here you see the mold is consisted of 4 parts and 1 core corresponding to the cavity of the mold. The next step is, after identifying the different parts of the mold, these parts are appropriately nested onto the powder bed in such a way that the entire bed can be utilized very efficiently. Because if you print a single part or if you print multiple parts, the time will be taken almost same. Therefore, it is always good that we nest our parts not only in 2D but in 3D in the case of binder jet based additive manufacturing system, so that we can fabricate large number of products on a single go. Of course, to start the printing process, first of all the STL file of the parts which are nested properly on the powder bed will be transferred to the machine, and then the machine will generate the data corresponding to the slice of each and every layer and identify the region where the material has to be deposited or not. Then the process will start, and as you can see here, there is a print head which is dispensing the binder from the top into the region wherever it is required. Here you can notice that the entire print head has to move back and forth, and it will dispense the binder through multiple nozzles, and then after that the new layer of the powder will be recoated as you are seeing here by utilizing a top feeding mechanism, and then again the print head will dispense the binder into the cross sections of the portion of the powder bed surface wherever it is required. The process repeats itself, and the entire nested parts into the bed are built. Then the whole bed is taken out, and the loose powder which is acting as a support material on the overhanging region, and the remaining loose powder is appropriately collected by utilizing a vacuum pump. The loose sand is typically removed by rubbing it by hand as well. Also, the sand which is get trapped into the cavities or into the channels has to be further removed to clean the molds. Each and every part of the mold is taken out, and one example of creating one mold will be shown here in this video later on. Of course, the next step is cleaning the part and removing the sand from each and every portion of the mold. That step is typically done by utilizing a compressed gas and some brushes. Here you can see, as the compressed gas strikes onto the mold, it pushes away the loose powder and leaves the clean mold behind. We need to clean the molds appropriately because we cannot afford to have any loose sand particles into the casted parts developed later on. After cleaning each and every part of the mold, these parts are assembled together to realize the final mold. It is usually done by pressure activated glue, as you are seeing here, and these different parts of the molds are appropriately kept together. To locate the location where this mold has to be, the appropriate provisions are provided, and once these molds are joined together, the final assembled mold is ready. Now this mold is ready, and one can pour the molten material into it, and the molten material will fill the cavity and take the shape of it. Then the conventional casting process will take place. Here you can see the molten aluminum is poured into the cavity, and the molten material has taken its shape. Later on, one can break this mold and has to take out the part which is casted here. Some sand got trapped into very intricate area as well and has to be removed, and of course some portion of the part produced by this technology has to be further finished by an appropriate machining operation. So this is an application, very important application of binder based powder bed additive manufacturing, of fabricating direct molds without utilizing any pattern for creating the molds. Now let us have a look at the process of binder based powder bed additive manufacturing when metal is used as a raw material. Here in that case, the metal will be the raw material, and the machine by X1 again utilizes multi nozzles to dispense the liquid binder. It feeds the material, the raw material, from top, and hence top feeding for the powder delivery, and also uses for recoating a slotted feeder. So let us have a look at the process of utilizing the binder based powder bed additive manufacturing for metal printing, and this video is by X1. So as in the case of the conventional binder based powder bed additive manufacturing, the first process is to appropriately nest the number of parts onto the bed so that we can utilize it efficiently, and this nesting is done in 3D. We already know that it's done in 3D because we can build part one over another in the case of binder based powder bed additive manufacturing. And why it is so? It is because there is no explicit support mechanism is required in the case of binder based powder bed additive manufacturing. Even the loose powder itself acts as a support material here. Once we created the STL file of all the nested parts together, we transfer it to the machine, and then a print head start dispensing the binder onto the top surface of the metal powder bed appropriately in the desired region. It can be noticed here that these metal powder particles are held together due to the dispense of the binder in the desired or the appropriate location. After completion of the binder dispensing, another layer of the metal powder is spreaded by utilizing a top feeding mechanism, and then again a print head is used to dispense the binder appropriately in the desired locations. The process will repeat itself to build the entire bed, and if there are number of parts here, all these parts will be built together in the machine. Later on, the loose metal powder is collected by a vacuum pump, and the green part of the metal, which is in which the metal particles are held together due to the binder, will be produced. We have to take some care while handling these parts, as they are in green state and they do not have a very good strength right now. Further, to improve its strength, these parts are appropriately aligned in a furnace in such a way that the appropriate channels are created, and these channels are connected towards the reservoir where the powder of copper is provided. After making this arrangement, the entire chamber is appropriately kept into a furnace where, when the temperature will rise, the copper powder will melt and it will get infiltrated into the voids of the parts and the gate. So as you see here, the entire arrangement is now transferred into a furnace where the temperature will increase. As I mentioned, as the temperature will increase, the powder particles corresponding to the copper will get melted, and please note that the metal particles corresponding to the part will not melt, but the copper will melt, and this liquid copper will infiltrated into the pores available into these parts created by binder jetting. And how these pores are coming? As the temperature is rising, the binder is already evaporated and that is leaving a cavity behind. As this copper has taken the space of the binder and eliminated the binder and taken its space, the parts are now completely of metal and will have better strength than earlier. Then these parts are slits from the channel in such a way that we can obtain each and every part appropriately. We can really create very complicated parts by this technology, because the binder based powder bed additive manufacturing can realize very large, very difficult to fabricate overhanging structures without any difficulty. But we will have the limitation here that all the time the parts produced here will be infiltrated by the copper, and the strength of the part will remain same for all cases of whatever powder particles you are using. The another very important application of binder based powder bed additive manufacturing is for realizing the time delivery drugs. The binder based powder bed additive manufacturing is a very suitable process for producing the time delivery drugs, and this is because of its capability of having the material from two sides. One is on the powder bed side, the material is available, and also along with the binder we can mix some drugs, and that can be another source of dispensing the material. Tablets of various APIs with different shapes and release profile have been developed using binder based powder bed additive manufacturing. FDA approved drugs are already developed by using the binder jetting method by ZipDose technology and Theriforms technology. Here in this small video you can see how the process works. First we spread a layer of the powder which acts as a matrix in the tablet, and then on the another station one can dispense the desired amount of the drug in the desired zone of the layer. Then these each and every layer of the tablet are stuck together to form the 3D tablet or the 3D pill. Here you can have a very high dose loading into the drug, as you have the control of loading the drug locally over the entire zone. A wide range of test making capabilities are there, and you can also load the drug in the desired region, different drugs, in such a way that a single pill can be used instead of having multiple pills in the single tablet with different drugs. One very important aspect of using the binder based powder bed additive manufacturing for realizing the time delay drug is its capability of producing the sustainable release. First of all, let me try to explain to you how conventional release works. So the rate of dissolving the drug is usually proportional to the surface area of the tablet. Assume that you have a tablet which is loaded with the drug and uniformly everywhere. As the tablet or the pill will start dissolving, its surface area will reduce. And as its surface area will reduce, you can see the percentage of the drug release, the amount of the drug release at any time delta t will keep on reducing. This, that if I consider, for example, this amount of delta t at this location, then this is the percentage of drug release at this time period. Let me take another time period when a lot of drug has been dissolved and the surface area of the drug has been reduced a lot. Now in that case, you will find that the amount of the drug released is very less. As a result, you will not have the constant amount of drug release over the period of time if you are dealing or having a conventional drug. So what is desirable? It is desirable that the concentration of the drug should be distributed in such a way that the specified rate of drug release can be obtained. And now this is easily done by appropriately dispensing the drug. Now let us assume that if I have a pill or the tablet which looks something like that, where there is a high drug concentration at the center and low drug concentration at the periphery. As in the beginning, when the tablet will start dissolving, it will have a large surface area. Therefore, the amount of drug will be released will be proportional to the surface area. As the surface area is high, the amount of drug will be some value, maybe A. Then after some time, the drug might have reached to another location because it has already been dissolved. Now the surface area has reduced. As the surface area has reduced, we need to have more drug concentration in that zone so that you again get the same required amount A of the drug in that time interval. Such type of sustainable release or the desirable release can be easily obtained when you are having a local control of loading the drug into the tablet. In every layer, while the drug is dispensed, its flow rate is controlled so that as to get the desired concentration. As a result, you can even obtain a linear release profile as you are seeing here in the red color over the period of time. Meaning to say, the amount of drug release at any time interval will remain constant, and that is called as sustainable release. This type of drugs are required in many cases and quite possible by binder based powder bed additive manufacturing. Another type of drugs we can produce by binder based powder bed additive manufacturing is multi-drug release. Like you are seeing here, we have drug 1 which is shown here in the pink color and the drug 2 which is shown here in the blue color. It is possible to load different type of drugs in different zones of the tablet, and such drugs can reduce the number of tablets required to be taken by the patient to only one drug, that is in a single dose. When this type of drug will release, you will get the releasing pattern like that. Like for the initial period of time, the drug 1 will release, and then later on drug 2 will release. So a single pill is serving the purpose of releasing the drug for different type at different time duration. Here it can be noted that the different type of drug can be obtained by having the multiple nozzles of binder jetting on the top. Typically, it has been found that around 30 to 50% material can be added from the dispensing the binder from the top, while 50 to 70% material is always the powder which we are spreading on the bottom, and that acts as a matrix to hold the drug together. So with this, thank you very much, and we have completed the discussion about the binder based powder bed additive manufacturing. So with this last lecture of the course, I would like to conclude our course on fundamentals of additive manufacturing. As I have explained in the beginning, that in this course we have discussed already the following 6 modules. The module 1 which we discussed was about the introduction to additive manufacturing. Then we shall discuss in detail about the computer aided process planning for additive manufacturing in module 2. We also discussed about liquid based additive manufacturing in module 3. We discussed about sheet additive manufacturing in module 4. Then we discussed about wire additive manufacturing in module 5, and now in module 6 we discussed about the powder additive manufacturing. I believe that now you will have some fundamental knowledge of additive manufacturing processes, and now with this knowledge I believe that you have learned that how to design your own additive manufacturing machines and how to set their process parameters, how to do the process modeling, at least the fundamentals of each and every process I have tried to explain. We also try to explain to you the computer aided process planning for additive manufacturing, and with that I believe now you have some idea of utilizing the open sources like Inkscape, Ultimaker, Cora, and also you have now some hands-on practice on the MATLAB, PowerMill, PowerShape and other CAD/CAM packages. I believe that now you will be able to optimally utilize your additive manufacturing machines and are able to understand the actual working conditions for different additive manufacturing systems. Although there are few things which I could not cover in this course directly, but we are going to provide you some annexures. Like the first annexure will be for the demonstration of some additive manufacturing systems. Then there will be an annexure for fundamentals of numerical modeling of additive manufacturing by Professor Swaroop Bagh sir. And then there will be an annexure on rapid manufacturing or utilizing these additive manufacturing technologies for manufacturing scenario by me. And then we shall give you also an annexure video for demonstration of the DEM software for powder handling in additive manufacturing by Mr. Ambrish Singh. And I shall give you another annexure lecture for omnidirectionality in additive manufacturing systems. Also there will be an annexure video by Professor Biranchi Panda on 3D concrete printing. These annexure videos are definitely very essential, but not a part of this course, but for further understanding of additive manufacturing process, these videos will be helpful, I believe. I would like to thank my TAs for helping me in developing this course, especially Mr. Ambrish Singh, who has helped me a lot in developing even all the do-it-yourself type of experiment which you have seen in my course. Other TAs are Mr. Anand Mohan Pandey and Mr. Ritam Sharma. So with this, if you have any further queries, you please feel free to write to us. Thank you very much and all the best.